A really big welcome to the Salon Chat Room podcast with Angeline Hayden, founder of Midas Customer Service Training and Salon Solutions, and Kerry Humphreys, founder of Locate Your Look. Please help us welcome our guests for today. We are sure you'll be suitably entertained and learn something new and inspiring about our amazing industry. Hello and welcome to our guests for today. So we're going to introduce Joe Mehmet, hairdresser. He's a freelance hairdresser with a high pedigree and vast experience. And also Aaron Dorn of Go Salon. Go Salon is a digital platform to assist salons with their retail sales.
Hi and welcome back to the Salon Chat Room. We are delighted to have with us today. We've got Aaron Dorn, founder of Go Salon, and we have got Joe Mehmet, salon owner. We just can't wait to hear all about them. So guys, if you'd like to kick off of just introducing your businesses, what you think of the industry, and tell our viewers all about yourselves.
You want to start, Aaron?
Okay, I'll go. Nice to meet you, Kerry and Angeline. Thanks for inviting us on the show. Really, I've been a hairdresser for 20 years, very independent-minded. I started my career at Stafford's back in 2000. Didn't like salon life, so went into doing lots of fashion shows and session hairdressing and things like that, which was all going amazingly until the Great Recession of 2009, where I learned a very hard lesson of having to diversify my skill set. So from 2009, I went to work corporately for a few product companies. So I've been an international platform artist. I've done trade shows around the world. And over the last few years, I've been co-founded the MH Fed, City and Guilds hair consultant. But the last 4 years, I've regressed a little bit, and I've gone back into just working in a salon environment and just taking care of my clients, my loyal clients.
Sounds really interesting. Had a fulfilled life in the industry.
He's been around, he has. He's been around. This is good travel.
He's diversified.
That's right.
Come on, Joe.
I mean, that was necessity, though. I had no intention to do that. That was due to the previous recession in 08 and 09. Session industry literally just collapsed like a stone. Advertising budgets, everything just disappeared. So we've lived through this scenario before. Do you know what I mean?
I was going to say, this is almost like another recession, isn't it, really, that we're going into? But sometimes do you not find, Aaron, that it opens doors of different opportunities for people? And, and you obviously saw, instead of giving up, you saw an opportunity to perhaps go into, still in the industry, but something different.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think it encourages one to always be agile enough to adapt to whatever life throws at you.
Can I say something? Sorry. I mean, I always see recession as retail cleansing.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it.
Totally. But the individual lesson that comes out of that cleanse is the fact that you should never get complacent. You should never get too comfortable with where you are. You should never be standing still. You should always be on your toes. I'm not sure how many more idioms I can throw at you, but I mean, that's what a recession teaches you. It teaches you to think outside the box,
Well, I think that's it's part of the learning process of being a hairdresser. Hi guys, but hi Kerry, hi Angeline.
Yeah, I'm waiting to hear your intro. Get on with your intro.
Pleased to meet you guys. I started in the 70s, and I've been around a bit, and I successfully had salons of my own, which I successfully sold. And here I am now looking after a few clientele, ultra high net worth individuals. But going back to Aaron's original question about recession. As a hairdressers, when we're learning, we always, every day you're learning something new. You're not, you know, when you start studying around looking, you may not seem you're learning, but you are learning something. And so you learn to learn on your feet. You think on your feet, you're thinking ahead, you're interpreting so many things. So when you do get moments, you actually know how to react. And I think the MVQ, which we're going to talk about, doesn't teach these things at all that a salon environment teaches. Because hairdressing is recession proof. You know, any salon which suffers a recession has got fundamental problems themselves. And it's very easy for salon owners to blame their failings on a recession or some kind of pandemic, which we are now, and things like that. Because
or a black swan.
Yeah, because people will always need their hair done. Haircut. Okay, maybe not the pampering experiences, the blow dries, the excessive everyday blow drying on the manicures and things like that. But they will always need a haircut and they will always need a colour. Yeah. So our industry is recession proof. I really do believe.
Well, I don't know. It might be recession proof, but is it pandemic proof? I think that's the question that's come up this year, which nobody could account for. Nobody could account for the fact that everyone was going to be shut and we were going to be accused of being non-essential.
We know for a fact, right, that salons may have been closed, but clubs were still having their hair done. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know that. I know that. But in terms of like the industry as a whole.
Are we talking about salon ownership or are we talking about the industry?
I think we're just talking about the industry and you know, the impact that a pandemic has had on it, as well as, you know, the impact that's going to have on salon owners.
I think you're both right. I think that this pandemic is going to show who is resilient, who can act with change, who business, and perhaps think, you know, if we just stay as we are, if we don't make any money, that's still okay. Because as long as we're still here, when we all go back, then we can build on that. So I think it's definitely going to highlight areas. So I think you're both right in some respects, yeah.
The interesting thing that I find with, you know, how I met you guys through LinkedIn, the web, I mean, during the lockdown, I never done social media at all, which we talk about. And in this lockdown, I sort of went onto LinkedIn, and all I find is a negative narratives about the pandemic, and how they sort of like, we're all in this together, let's do this, let's, you know, etc., etc., etc. And yet, not one person came up with anything constructive during the whole lockdown. Not one posting that I saw was saying, wow. I mean, there is one post that I did try.
I must have slipped us.
I've written about 20 blogs of solutions.
Yeah.
You know, how to you know, get through it.
Do you think that people don't think that they're in a position to be able to tell people how to do it? Maybe educate people. Do you think that's maybe why, Joe?
No, I completely don't understand. I can't answer that question. But all I know, right, from a hairdresser's point of view, is that they're completely dumbfounded. I mean, you yourself, as a businesswoman, would know, right, that you had the vision, you saw something, you know how to make, you know how to create, and you know how to sort of like. But these sort of posts that I've been reading, they're all waiting to go back to normal. They all want to go back to where they were pre-COVID. That's not going to happen.
I think that's just wishful thinking, isn't it, really?
I just think, and also in their minds, they generally just want to get back into it. But people that are quite naive don't realise the fundamentals of it. So yes, people want their hair done still, but how many people that have lost their jobs can actually generally afford it? So there is going to be an element. There is going to be an element of their business is not going to be the same.
No, but from a hairdresser's point of view, though, and this is purely from our point of view, we will never starve. You know what I mean? As we got a skill, we will never starve.
I totally agree. Totally, 100% agree.
So there's no fear. When you've got that knowledge, there should be no fear. You can only go forward. So the pandemic has to restructure, not reset. I don't like that word. Is a restructuring of the industry completely as we know it. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, there's one point there I'd like to make, where this time it's different, to a recession, is the fact that because everywhere's closed, all of those ancillary sales, all of those blow dries, all of those extra things, people have nowhere to go. They've got no weddings to go to. They've got no theatres to go to. They've got no restaurants to go to.
It is a ripple effect.
In this scenario, hardly anybody feels the need to get their hair done. So whereas in previous recessions, there was always going to be that top 1%, which are recession-proof, i.e. the people that you used to look after, Joe Mehmet, the high net worth individuals that aren't affected by it, they were still going to the ballet and still going to the opera and still going to their parties. But this time round, nobody's going anywhere. So there is a distinct difference between 2009 and 2020, I believe.
Well, the pandemic is not recession for a start. Okay, so let's clear that out. It's not recession. It's not economic.
No, but it's going to create the same issue. It's going to create the same economic bump in the road.
Yeah, look, I think there was a lot of excessiveness in our industry anyway. There was too many salons in the high street for a start. There's too many blow bars. There's too many manicure stations. There's too many of everything. And
this is where we were picking up on regulations, Joe and Aaron. We were talking about that, there are no regulations in hairdressing. Anybody could just go and open a salon. They don't have to be trained. They don't have to show their worth, really. So I think also, there are organizations out there that are making noises now about regulating salons. Do you think that's a good idea?
I think I've got to slightly disagree.
Can I take this one? Can I take this one? Let me take this one first.
Because we have discussed this ourselves.
Because obviously in my position as the MH Fed, we regularly had to deal with conversations about this subject with the Hair Council, the National Hairdressers Federation. And fundamentally, neither of those two organisations are actually interested in getting regulation through because they've already got a cash cow that they're living off. And the idea that regulation will solve our industry's problems is nothing but a pipe dream.
I agree.
The idea that you can regulate someone to be better is a nonsense, and I think we see that in America. Over in the US, they've got very strict cosmetology licensing laws and stuff over there. Does it make all American hairdressers amazing? I'm not sure it does, So I think we're in a massively competitive industry. We're self-regulated because we're super competitive. And if that person wants to open up the salon for the first time, they've got to be that passionate and have that much belief in their own skill and their own clientele that I say good luck to them. Do you know what I mean? Because if you're still there after 6 months, say that again?
Good, exactly.
Competition's good. It's good.
Yeah, competition's amazing. So why would you want to put a barrier of entry for new people to come into an industry to create competition?
Do you think might protect the clients a little bit more? Do you see that?
The clients don't care. I mean, if the clients had an issue with it, they would stop going to a salon based on first impression, that they didn't like the look of it from the outside. They don't need to see like a British safety standard certificate in the window to go, you know what, I'm going to go in there now.
They generally don't know what that is anyway. Clients just generally don't know what that is.
That's right. I think they do. They don't care.
They're not educated on that.
And they've got no interest. They've got no interest in that. They just want to be able to, have autonomy to go and do what they want. And I think every small and medium business owner wants autonomy to be able to do their business without being told by others what to do. I think there has to be a pushback on this regulation argument. And I'm one of the only people that actually speaks out against it, and I've seen all sides of the stories, and regulation never. If you want to regulate anyone, regulate the product companies that put in all these dangerous chemicals out there in the first place. Why is it the hairdresser has to take the rap for risking their reputation using a chemical product? Do you know what I mean? They want to regulate people like me and Joe that cut hair. Well, I mean, I've never caused anyone injury from cutting hair. Do you know what I mean? But
you made anyone cry, Aaron?
Chemicals is a different thing. But chemicals is a different thing. You know, so this idea of regulation for something that is chemical based, that it shouldn't be called regulation. There should be a license, and the accountability should fall onto the product companies.
A big thank you to our guests today for giving up their time to share their own salon industry journeys. Don't forget to sign up to our channels so you don't miss out on the amazing guests we have lined up just for you. Big love from Kerry Humphreys, founder of Locate Your Look, and Angeline Hayden, founder of Midas Customer Service Training and Salon Solutions. See you next time on the Salon Chat Room podcast.